Pelé, king of the beautiful game, dies aged 82 is the front page headline on the Daily Express. Goodbye to the greatest, say the Daily Mail and the Star. Pelé, the greatest footballer of all time, dies at 82. The real GOAT is their front page headline. The fact that the front and back pages of the newspapers are covering this very sad story this morning probably tells us all we need to know about Pelé and how he had that ability to transcend not just football, sport in general, but really to get in the public consciousness as well.
Very much so. As you said there, it's not just the greatest footballer of all time. People have their different opinions on who they would put in the top three, who would be top of that three. But undoubtedly one of the greatest sportsmen of all time. You said transcended football, become obviously a global ambassador, was an icon, was an inspiration for not only young Brazilian footballers, but young footballers all over the world. We've heard about his backstory, the sort of humble beginnings that he came from. In these days of academies, Crookie, where a lot of the younger players have everything done for them, if you look at Pelé, I think his dad was an ex-footballer as well who got injured. They lived on a caravan park, and he had to basically fill a sock full of paper or play with a hollowed out sort of watermelon, to hone his skills. And he had that hunger, he had the desire. And I can remember, obviously I was born in 1965, so the World Cup in 1970, I can't remember actually watching it, but my dad said to me that he was the greatest sportsman that he'd ever seen. And I used to watch some videos, and he reminded me, if you had a mix between Cristiano Ronaldo, his physicality and his aerial prowess, and Lionel Messi on his dribbling skills and going past people and being balletic and a great balance, you put those two together, that's Pelé. He had all those attributes. He could play as, first of all, as a centre forward, then he could play as a 10, then he could play a little bit deeper. So he had, and I remember my dad saying to me when I was about 10, 11, he gave me, it's the first book I ever read, it was a book about Pelé. And he said, read that, son. He said, if you think you got any chance of being a footballer, you've got to work as hard as what he did. Because he had all the natural ability. But my dad had gone into the detail about how hard he worked. And people forget, Crookie, obviously he was known for his aerial, I meant to say his aerial prowess. He was only 5'8". And I was used to watch in wonderment at the way he just hang in the air. And we saw, obviously, the iconic header that he had with Gordon Banks, where he hangs in the air. And he's got another one in the World Cup final in 1970, where Rivellino crosses it and he hangs. And you just think that's from hours and hours and hours of practice. And his physical condition as well. If you look back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, footballers' body shapes were different to what they are now. His body shape is what a footballer's shape is now. You probably a combination again of a ballet dancer and a middleweight boxer. Do you know what I mean? He had absolutely everything.
We're just hearing, actually, the Premier League will be paying tribute to Pelé this weekend, as you would expect. Minutes of applause at all 10 matches this weekend. All 20 clubs will also be wearing black armbands to honour Pelé. For me, it wasn't just about his football ability. I think it was the sportsmanship. My abiding memory of Pelé is always seeing clips of him with a smile on his face, be when he was scoring great goals, when he was being denied by incredible saves he was by Gordon Banks. And at the front page of the Daily Star, actually, is that iconic image of him swapping shirts with the great Bobby Moore after that England-Brazil game. And he did so much once he retired as well, didn't he, as an ambassador for FIFA. He was sports minister for Brazil, helping impoverished families in his home country. And even today, when you look at the number of world-class players that have come from that great footballing country, Pelé is still the one who stands head and shoulders above the rest. And I guess that says it all.
As you said there, on and off the pitch, and you said that iconic photograph of Bobby Moore and Pelé swapping shirts. Pelé liked the sportsmanship. By the way, Crook, don't think he couldn't look after himself on the pitch. No, because in again the era he got sort of injured, didn't he, in 1962 in the World Cup. He got kicked out of the World Cup in 1966. So then he realised that maybe he'd have to change and become a little bit sort of tougher, a little bit more robust on the pitch. But the reason you got that iconic photograph of Bobby Moore is because he said afterwards that he thought he was the greatest defender that he'd played against, and Bobby Moore didn't try to outmuscle him or, boot him off the pitch or go in with sly tackles. He actually admired him more because he did actually just try and win the ball cleanly. So, there's so many different sort of images you said on and off. I can remember the one, his 1,000th goal, which was a penalty. And also watching the World Cup highlights, because the only time it seemed so exotic, because it seemed like obviously seemed like they'd come from another planet with that iconic Brazilian kit. In 1970s, when I was watching football, it was all reds and blues or stripes and hoops, and you see the iconic Brazilian kit with the yellow shirt with the green the trim, the blue shorts, white socks. It seems magical. And you see the grainy pictures, what come through. First time I'd ever watched colour television, put the 50p in the back, and the radio rentals man used to come round, collect your money. But it was, and you had that sort of that hum, didn't you, that buzz of noise, which was coming through. Obviously the acoustics, no one here was good at that now when you get your pictures. But yeah, it's just all those memories then sort of come flooding back.
So many tributes being paid, as you would expect this morning, from the world of football. Cafu, Pelé will never die. Pelé is eternal. Pelé is the king. Pelé is unique, he says. He will be immortalised in every magnificent goal, in every moment of genius, but mainly in each one of those who were inspired by him and his generation. Rest in peace, my brother. That's Cafu, a former World Cup winner with Brazil. Erling Haaland, everything you see any player doing, Pelé did it first, he's tweeted. R.I.P. Patrick has tweeted at talkSPORT. On this sad day for world football lovers, I'm wearing this with pride in remembrance of a true legend, a genius, my vintage 1977 Pelé New York Cosmos jersey. We are offering you the chance to pay your own tribute this morning. Give us a call for any Pelé memories that you can share here on talkSPORT. 03717 22 3344.